All right, so topic 4 is all about coordinate planes. We are lucky that you've done some graphing and work with coordinate planes before. Difference between 5th and 6th grade. In 5th grade, you really focus here in this first quadrant, top right. In 6th grade, we shift gears, and you are going to be responsible for graphing all throughout the coordinate plane in all 4 quadrants. So we're going to review a little bit of vocab. I asked you to take your notes out. You don't need to write anything down right now. I will let you know when we get to the slide that I want you to start adding to your notes, okay? So first thing to keep in mind when we're talking about a coordinate plane, really the best thing to remember is that a coordinate plane is just 2 number lines that are intersecting. We've got a horizontal number line that runs left to right, just like the number lines we just worked with in topic 3. And then we also have a vertical number line that goes up and down. Think of like the number lines we looked at, like thermometers and stuff like that. Okay, where our positive numbers are going to be to the right and up, and our negatives are to the left and down. Who can tell us, anyone know what the name of the horizontal number line is? The one that goes left to right. Emmy?
Is it like the X line?
Close. It's the X. Bernadette? Very. Yeah, how do I say that word? Axis. Okay, so this horizontal number line, the one that goes left to right, is our x-axis. Arian, do you know the name of the vertical one? Yes, it's the y-axis. So the one that runs up and down is our y-axis. So x goes side to side, y goes up and down, okay? Where those 2 lines meet, they split our coordinate plane into 4 sections. Anyone know the name of this point in the middle where they intersect? It has its own name, Sam. It's the origin. So that 0, 0 point is the origin, and it's split into 4 sections called quadrants. This was where a lot of us on the pre-assessment didn't know the technical terms. A lot of you were like, oh, can I just say it's in the top right corner or it's in the bottom left corner? You can say that, but that's not the actual name. So they are called quadrants 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we name them using Roman numerals, not regular numbers, okay? So you can write the Roman numerals like that. You could also write them, I think on the answer key to the pre-assessment, I had them written like this with the lines above them and below them. So it's 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, and then IV is 4. Think of this as like these are just different fonts on a computer. So I don't care if you write them without the lines or with the lines. Jules?
Why would like the top left, right be it? Why wouldn't it be like the top left, kind of like how you?
It's a great question. I don't know. I didn't actually create the coordinate plane, so I can't say for sure why it's numbered this way, but it is. But if you're somebody who's like, I'm kind of worried I might forget which one's which, here's a trick you can use to remember which coordinate or which quadrant is which. So this whole thing is called a coordinate plane, which starts with the letter C. If you pretend you are drawing a giant C in the coordinate plane, the order in which you get to the quadrants is the order in which they're numbered. So I start here with 1, circle around 2, 3, and 4. Now, if you make your C's backwards or upside down, like if you start at the bottom and go up, I guess count down, I don't know what to tell you. But if you make a C, you were probably taught to start up here and loop around. Okay, that's the order in which you're going to get to those quadrants, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, questions on that? All right, next thing, a little bit more vocab. When we have a point, points are called ordered pairs or coordinates or points. There's 3 words we can use to describe the same thing. So when I hear the word point, a coordinate, or an ordered pair, those all mean the same thing. When I give a coordinate, I'm going to write it with the parentheses and the comma in between. The first number represents my x value. My second number represents my y value. So how far I go over left to right is the x. How far I go up and down is the y. Mrs. Pettit last year probably taught you OSU, over, stop, up. Does that sound familiar? Yeah. So you go over, you stop, and then you go up or down. Could also think of it like a ladder. Okay, if I'm using a ladder to, say, hang lights on my house for the holidays, I'm going to move my ladder side to side. Where do I need to hang these lights? And then I'm going to go up and down. Okay, I'm not going to climb up my ladder and then go, oh, I meant to hang lights over there, and then hop over on my ladder, because that's probably not going to end real well for me, right? So on a ladder, I've got to set it up side to side first, and then I can go up and down. Okay? All right, that was a lot. Let's, on the front of your foldable, label some of those things and fill this in. So on the front of your foldable, at the top, where you've got the coordinate plane, go ahead and label your x and y axes. Axes is just plural for axis. So we're going to label x. We're going to label y. We're going to label our quadrants. So we've got quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to label our origin. So put a dot there as 0, 0, and make sure you add that vocab word there as the origin. Give you a minute to get that labeled, and then we'll fill out the bottom of the front side here. All right, on the bottom of the front, we're going to label that our ordered pairs always go x, comma, y. So our x value is always first. Our y value is second. And then we're going to fill in this steps tab. All right, here we go. For step 1, we are always going to start at the origin. So every single time we are graphing a point, we need to reset and go back to that middle point, the origin. Step 2, we are going to go over, and if you want to draw the arrows for the visual, by the x value. So whatever our x value is, we're going to go over side to side. And then step 3, we're going to go up or down by the y value. Give you a second to catch up on that. On the inside, now, as tempting as it is to work ahead, I do want you to stay with us as we're doing each section of this. We're only going to do 2 of them today, and then we're going to stop until next class. Yours should have come pre-labeled, so you don't need to number yours. But the reason why I don't want you working ahead is because once we do things, we're going to stop and talk real briefly, and I'm going to give you some big takeaway points that I want to make sure you know. And if you're working ahead, you're probably not listening to that conversation, and you're going to miss the big ideas. Okay, so when we go to graph, watch how I'm going to do this, and then you're going to try some on your own. I'm starting here in the middle by the origin. I'm trying to graph point A, which is at 8, 4. So I'm going to go over to a positive 8. I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to go up to positive 4, which is right here. When I put that point on my coordinate plane, I'm just going to put a dot there where those lines intersect, and I'm going to put an A next to it to label it as point A. So you can go ahead and do that. I want you to graph A, B, C, D, and I also want you to graph right now point R, which R is listed at the bottom of the thing, the bottom middle down here. Okay? A, B, C, D, and R, yes. And then I'll put the answers up here so that when you finish, you can check and compare how you did. All right, once you finish graphing those, go ahead and check yours and see how you did. All right, so let's look at these. Let's ignore point R for a second. What observations can you make about A, B, C, and D? Give me some observations about A, B, C, and D. Emmy?
If you would trace them together, it kind of looks like a lightning bolt.
Somebody said that 4th period too. If you were to connect the dots, it kind of looks like a lightning bolt. Great observation. Give me another observation about A, B, C, and D. Gwen? We could potentially make a 4-sided shape out of them. Let me ask this question a different way. Where do you notice that A, B, C, and D fall? Not like how they fall compared to each other, but they are all what? Eva? So they all have positive coordinates. So their x and y values are positive, and they all ended up where on your coordinate plane?
The one spot.
Top right, which we call quadrant 1. So when we look up here, where it says quadrant 1, in these parentheses, we're going to fill in that quadrant 1 is a positive quadrant because it's a positive x value and a positive y value. So whenever we see a coordinate that we know has both positive numbers, it's going to be in quadrant 1. Now, what about point R? I told you to graph point R. What do you notice about point R? Bernadette?
It's like not in where the boxes are, it's just on the line because it starts with 0. So then you just
Great. Yes, you made both connections. So it has an x value of 0. So its x value is 0. And it falls on, you said the line. Can anyone be a little bit more specific about what we call that line? Jules? Not the origin. That's that middle point where they intersect. The y-axis. So that's a big takeaway. When a point has an x value of 0, it ends up on the y-axis. You might want to make that note above it. So if the x value is 0, it's on the y-axis. That would be something I would note just above your coordinate plane there, because that's a big takeaway. If the x value is 0, it's on the y-axis. All right, we're going to do one more quadrant, and then we're going to stop there. So once you have that written down, I want you to graph points E, F, G, H, and Q, I think is the other one on the bottom. Yep. E, F, G, H, and Q. Go ahead and take a minute to do those.
Do this
Yep.
like a test, and how do we want -2 to do? What? Tell me which quadrant. Like this one.
So you go, yep. So this is our first. E, F, G, H, and Q. Q is the other one that's listed on the bottom there. And when you finish those, you can go ahead and check that yours matches mine. If it doesn't, erase and fix it. All right, hopefully you've had enough time to check. What do you notice about, ignore Q for a second, this should go faster hopefully. E, F, G, H, what do you notice about E, F, G, and H? L.
You can't really make a shape with these ones. Not like a force.
Okay, we're not trying to make shapes. I want you to make an observation about where the points fall and what you notice about their actual locations, their coordinates. Leo.
All in quadrant 2.
They are all in quadrant 2. Can you make an observation about their x and y values? So looking at kind of these numbers over here, do you notice anything about their x and their y values? Be more specific. Which one?
The first one is negative. The x-axis one is negative. The y-axis one is positive.
Good. So in quadrant 2, and we're filling this in up top here, the x value is negative. The y value is positive. So anytime we have a point that has a negative x and a positive y, they're going to fall in the second quadrant. Okay. What then do you notice about point Q? Where did that fall and why did it fall there? George?
I forgot.
Okay. Aryan?
It fell on the x-axis.
It's on the x-axis because
It's because the x coordinate is.
take a look. Which one is 0, x or y? The y value. So there's another takeaway there. If the y value is 0, it's on the x-axis. So whichever value is 0, it ends up on the opposite axis. If the x is 0, it's on the y. If the y is 0, it's on the x. Get that last takeaway written down, and then, Henry, you can shut your notebook because we're done with it. Once you get that last observation written down, we're going to stop there for today.
It's a vowel.